Skulls are difficulty and gameplay modifiers that first appeared in Halo 2. When CE was getting an anniversary makeover, skulls were one of the new features added. Some were familiar, some were new, but like the days of Halo 3, players could seek them out in-game and unlock them. While not required, you do get achievements for the skulls. Most levels in CEA have at least one skull, and they can only be found in anniversary mode. The Iron Skull can be found at the start of the level Pillar of Autumn in the Cryo Room. From the Cryopod, circle around to the right and head for the back of the room. Behind these cylinders is the skull. The Mythic Skull can be found at the start of the level Halo. After the level starts, rather than heading for the bridge, head for this waterfall in the back of the map. Behind this large boulder, just to the right of the waterfall, in the water, is the skull. The Boom Skull can be found later in the same level. After you save the first group of Marines and receive the Warthog, you head towards the totally natural cave formation. Rather than heading down the valley into the cave, drive along the right cliff ledge. Behind this second tree, near the large crossbeam, is the skull. The Foreign Skull can be found on the level Truth and Reconciliation. Fight your way into the hangar and clear out the Covenant until the hunters appear from the far back door. You'll have to quickly make your way through the door where the skull awaits. If these doors close, they will not open for the player. The Famine Skull can be found on the level The Silent Cartographer. When the level starts, instead of engaging the Covenant, head away around the opposite side of the island. You'll come across a large hill with a winding path on its side. At the top of the hill is the skull. The Bandana Skull can be found near the room where you deactivate the Cartographer's security. Fight your way into the security room and upon arriving, head out to the right. Outside, you'll be able to see the tunnel where you just came, the skull lying on top of it. You'll need to either grenade jump or rocket jump onto this ledge to retrieve the skull. This can take a few tries. The Fog Skull can be found on Assault on the Control Room. After the first elevator ride of the level, you'll come across a room with sleeping grunts. Clear out the area of enemies, then head into the center of the room. The skull will be in this ventilation chamber. You'll need to grenade jump to reach it. Later in the level, you can find the Malfunction Skull. After you get the tank and go through a large tunnel, you'll come to this open area with a chasm and bridge. Head to the right just before the partial bridge, and over the edge, you'll see a pipe with the skull sitting on it. Next, we have the Recession Skull on 343 Guilty Spark. Immediately after getting off the Pelican, turn left and walk straight like so. Walk through the water until you get to this grassy area with two trees. Behind the first tree is the skull. The Black Eye Skull is found on the level The Library, near the very start of the level. Walk to the end of the first hallway. Rather than heading right to continue the level, look to the left where you'll see a pair of vent shafts. After clearing out the local flood, grenade jump onto this block. Then jump into the vent on the right, and on a ledge in the back of the vent is the skull. The eye patch skull can be found at the very end of the level, when you come to the room with the index. Rather than going for the index, take a path to the right and walk around the room. The skull will be at the end of the hall, opposite the entrance to the room. The Pinata skull can be found on 2 betrayals at the very end of the level. Once you grab the Banshee, head towards the objective, but when you arrive, fly past it towards this archway. The skull is right on top. The final skull, Grunt Birthday Party, is found on the Maw, the final level, during the Warthog run. When you get to the section where you're told to stop and wait for Foehammer, park the Warthog next to this large railing on the right. Jump onto the rail and you'll find the skull.
Echo 419, calculating alternate escape route.
And that does it for CEA's skulls. Naturally, they're all unlocked by default in MCC, along with a few extra that are MCC exclusive. However, the skulls you can find in the campaign each have an achievement tied to them, and finding all of them gets you the appropriately titled Headhunter achievement. So besides being a fun hunt, it's worthwhile for the gamer score. Hope you found this helpful. That's all for today. This has been Halo Canon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, and if you really love me, hit that notification bell and leave a thumbs up. These both really help out the channel. I wouldn't be where I am now without your views and support, so once again, thank you. Keep on being awesome, Canonites.